Hey guys, Bubba here. Hey, what am I keeping my eye on right now? And this weekend, Israel and Hamas, as Hamas urges Palestinians to mobilize against Israel as tensions grow. The leaders of Palestinian terror groups in the Gaza Strip on Wednesday called for Palestinians to mobilize against Israel, threatening to escalate tensions in Jerusalem and the West Bank, Biblical Judea and Samaria. We are declaring a general mobilization in all places where our people are located. We are calling on the masses to come out in the hundreds of thousands to protect our nation and our mosque, the Gaza group said in a statement after meeting with Hamas leaders yesterday. They urged Palestinians to march and go out in the hundreds of thousands and hold Friday prayers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Islam's third holiest site that also sits on top of the Temple Mount. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is typically a flashpoint for violence, especially during the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, when religious tensions are high and terror attacks increase. Even fighting Gaza groups met together and signed a little peace thing between themselves yesterday to establish their rules of engagement with Israel amid near-daily raids against terror suspects in the West Bank and calls from the Jewish activists to offer a ritual animal sacrifice, the lamb sacrifice, on the Temple Mount during Passover. The Temple Mount is the location where two Jewish temples once stood. Jews are allowed to visit the site, but to preserve their fragile status quo there, they are not allowed to pray or perform religious rituals. The holy site is the epicenter, emotionally, of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Last year, efforts by the Israeli police to stop persistent rioting on the Temple Mount helped trigger that 11-day war with Gaza that began after Hamas fired rockets at Jerusalem. And so far, the Gaza Strip has been quiet, despite a recent wave of terror attacks. But Israeli officials are concerned that Wednesday's meeting between the Palestinian terror factions could change that. Israel has sought to cool tensions by allowing Muslim worshippers to enter the country without permits during this Ramadan. Tens of thousands of Palestinians are expected to gather on the Temple Mount tomorrow on Friday. Israel is also routinely carrying out arrest raids in the West Bank in response to terror attacks or attempted attacks. For example, last night, Wednesday night, Israel arrested several Palestinians from the towns of Silwad and Khobar who are allegedly planning to carry out an imminent attack against Israelis. Palestinians have protested these raids, which have killed several Arabs. Last week, Palestinian rioters vandalized Joseph's tomb in protest of these arrests. The Hamas deputy political chief, Salah al-Ariri, also called for an escalation on Wednesday after Israeli countertroops arrested Palestinian suspects in the West Bank town of Silwad. We call on all of our nation to mobilize and support Silwad in all areas of conflict, he said. Fatah in the West Bank also called for the Palestinian public to go to sensitive areas on Thursday and quote-unquote confront IDF soldiers, forces, and settlers throughout the West Bank. While tensions are normally high at this time of year during Ramadan, activists are seeking to offer Passover sacrifice at Temple Mount. Returning to the Mount movement offers monetary rewards to anyone who offers the Passover sacrifice on Friday, the eve of the Passover. In light of the threats of the Hamas terrorist organization and police resistance to allow Temple Mount activists to perform the Passover sacrifice on the eve of Passover festival on Friday, Returning to the Mount movement has launched a new campaign to encourage Jews to perform the biblical sacrifice. In the publication published by the Returning to the Mount movement, a cash prize of 10,000 shekels has been offered to anyone who succeeds in performing the ritual sacrifice in its proper place. 800 shekels to those who are stopped on their way with a young goat or a lamb, and 400 shekels award are given to those who are stopped without an animal for sacrifice. The Returning to the Mount movement said in a statement, "It is time to change the rules of the game. Neither Hamas nor Jordan will decide whether the offering of the sacrifices will be resumed. It depends solely on us. This coming Friday, Passover Eve, we will reach the Temple Mount from all parts of the country with goats and sheep demanding the sacrifice at its appointed time." So we've got Gaza, which warns Israel that they're playing with fire with these Israelis that are offering cash rewards to anyone who offers a sacrifice. This is a match that is waiting to be lit. And this just in as tensions mount as the Israeli army announces the closure of the West Bank and the Gaza border during the first day of Passover. The border crossing will remain closed for Palestinians between 4 p.m. Friday until midnight Saturday. And officials are even mulling extending these lockdowns during the entire holiday. The goal is to avoid escalation, to contain violence, and to prevent unrest on other fronts, but most importantly, to keep Jerusalem's holy sites from blowing up during the holy month of Ramadan. So what do you guys think? Has the fuse been lit? Let me know in the comments below. We'll talk to you soon.